feeling pretty good about some of the youth in our community. Thank you. It's at this time I'd like to ask, I have a list of elected officials here, but I believe Senator Shields, who was scheduled to be here with us, has a family issue. But I would ask at this time if Lou Frederick to join me up here.
Well, thank you. As Marcus said, Senator Shields called me today as well, just about an hour or so ago, and let me know he couldn't make it. And he's upset about that, but he's trying to get some things done. I'm going to do something a little different here. I am simply going to talk about two different things. One is a general idea. We have to make sure that the police are no longer an occupying force in our community. Because as an occupying force, you see, they feel afraid and we feel afraid. And I got to tell you, I'm tired of feeling afraid. So we can talk and we can do a lot of things. I'm not going to try to out-preach any of these folks back here, I'll tell you that. Certainly not Dr. Haynes. But I am going to say this. We have to figure out what we're going to do.
Right.
Now, I just spent the last month in the legislature, and I got to tell you, I had a great time. I felt very good because I got a chance to be in situations that I would not otherwise have been in. About a week and a half ago, I found myself in the middle of a conversation with 10 other legislators. And we were sitting there, and one of the legislators from Eugene looked over at me and he said, "So Lou, what are we going to do about this situation with the police in Portland?" Now, when he said that, there were other legislators who were around, everybody stopped. And we started talking about it. And I got to tell you, the fact is, if I hadn't been there, they wouldn't have been having that conversation.
Tell the story.
And if I hadn't been there, we wouldn't have talked about what we might be doing with the fellow who, one of the fellows happens to be a former president of the Portland Police Union. And we started having a conversation about what we need to do. So there are a lot of things we need to do. We need to change the investigation system.
Yep.
We need to change the training. We need to change the psychological assessment of the police officers. We need to test the police after every incident for steroids, because I got to tell you, that was what was going on. We need to change the attitude. We need to change the attitude to a community policing situation instead of a military situation.
Tell the story.
We are not talking about rules of engagement. Rules of engagement are when you're in the middle of a war. Rules of engagement. We're talking about trying to make sure that you're working with your fellow citizens, not the enemies, not the folks who are threatening you. We have to do something just as simple as that. And I'm going to offer something as a suggestion as well, and this is going to be a long-term suggestion, and it has nothing to do with the legislature. It has nothing to do with laws and policies, etc. This is a simple situation, but it's going to take a long time. Look, we got to take over the police department.
Yep.
Okay? We got to have our people, our folks, our community in the police department. We can't be waiting for someone else to make decisions about us. We have to decide, not wait for them to act correctly. We have to be there. Now, over the last few weeks, I have had police officer after police officer come to me and tell me how upset they were about the way things went. And upset about how people were, the attitude of the police union, the attitude of a number of other police officers over time. Now they tell me this in a safe way. They pull me over when I'm walking down the street. They talk with me about all these kinds of things, but they are afraid to step forward because they do not believe they're going to get supported by the rank and file. The only way we change that is making sure that they are the majority of people in there. So I'm offering a few suggestions. I'm something else. The timing has got to be a different way. We are not in session anymore. We won't be in session until next January. All right? Now, I got to put a plug in here. This is an unmitigated plug. I got to get reelected. I got to get elected in May. So we're going to have to do something about that too. All right? But here's a schedule that we got to be thinking about. If we're going to do something, I need to have ideas and policies and proposals in my hand by July. Why? Because in September, we changed it, by the way, just to let you know, Joanne. They've changed it. By September, we have to have a series of policies and potential rules and bills that we'd like to have to the Legislative Council by the end of September. So I've got to have these ideas, these plans, these proposals, these concepts ready by the end of September. That means we need to really have them understandable in July so that we can start working on them and send them out. That's the time frame. So think about it this way. We have an election in May. We have the time frame of getting ideas in July. We propose those things in September, and they don't get to be even thought about or voted on until January. Actually, until February, but until January is when the legislature starts. Think about that. I'm going to need your help. We're all going to need your help. And these folks up here, if you have, your hands should be hurting from applauding them, because they have been doing a remarkable job.